For the most part, Tori Spelling has been in the news for all the wrong reasons during her career. Tori has been in the spotlight before, but this time it's because of her bequest. After her father, the late Aaron Spelling, passed away, Tori was left with nearly none of his $600 million wealth, despite the fact that she was the daughter of the renowned film producer. Plus, we'll show you every step of Tori Spelling's inheritance drama in this video. However, before we can go into that aspect of her life, it is necessary to conduct a brief biography of Tori Spelling. If you were a TV viewer in the 1990s, you might be familiar with the name Tori Spelling. She became famous for her role as Donna Martin on the hit TV program Beverly Hills 90210 and is now also a reality TV star. Be that as it may, aside from the stage, because of her famous father and the privileged background she was born into, Tori has never been out of the limelight. Tori came into this world on May 16, 1973, in the city of Angels, California, which is essentially in the middle of Hollywood. You would be correct in thinking that sounds glamorous. Aaron Spelling, one of the most influential and prosperous television producers of all time, is Tori's father. The man responsible for Tori's breakout role on Beverly Hills 90210 is also responsible for Dynasty and Charlie's Angels. For most people, Tori Spelling's upbringing as the daughter of Aaron Spelling was a life of pure fantasy. One of the biggest houses in the U.S., the legendary Spelling Manor, was 56,000 square feet in size and located in Los Angeles. She lived there. From an early age, Tori's life was largely predetermined by her father, who had the ability to influence the television programming that millions of people watched. She appeared to be blessed with an abundance of opportunities, and it was evident from an early stage that she might pursue a career in showbiz if she so desired. Although Tori's life may seem idyllic now, what with her renowned surname and property, it hasn't always been that way. There are certain difficulties that come with being born into wealth, particularly when the entire world is observing. Aaron Spelling wasn't merely a compass for Tori, he literally managed her career in acting. A coach that Tori's father had hired began teaching her acting classes when she was 6 years old. The Love Boat, T.J. Hooker Hotel, and Fantasy Island were among the major television shows that featured her soon after. These early roles weren't merely chance encounters, they were strategically positioned in Aaron Spelling's programs, paving the way for Tori's career in Hollywood. Actress Tori Spelling's breakout role as Donna Martin on the Spelling television-produced Beverly Hills 90210 began when she was 17 years old. Getting parts for his daughter wasn't the only thing Aaron Spelling did. The roles she played were greatly influenced by him. On Beverly Hills 90210, this was especially the case with Donna Martin. On top of keeping Donna at the center of attention the whole time, he collaborated closely with Charles Rosen, the show's writer, to shape Donna's plots. Her famous plot of staying a virgin for most of the series was one of the most influential ways Aaron molded Donna's character. Tori told Jenny Garth, who she worked with in the past, on an episode of the 9021 ONG podcast that her father and Charles Rosen had planned for Donna to remain a virgin. When Rosen confessed, Tori found out the truth, even if she didn't formally know it was her father's plan at the time. Aaron Spelling's tight control over Tori's career and on-screen appearance was evident in his influence over Donna's character. His participation safeguarded his daughter Tori from any portrayal that would have been at odds with his expectations for her and guaranteed that her performance on the show would be memorable to viewers. In addition to her natural talent, Tori's level of impact helped cement her position as a television legend of the 1990s. Particularly when it pertains to a family legacy, comes with a cost. And Tori's story was no different. Despite her advantages, she had a life full of hardships. There were advantages and disadvantages to Tori's connection with her father. On the one hand, she had it made from the start thanks to her father's massive success in the television industry. Though she had an advantage thanks to her father's influence, Tori began to question her own abilities as a result. It seemed like her dad was the only reason she was successful, rather than her own abilities. This feeling persisted. Additionally, I think you'd agree that self-doubt makes it hard to feel good about yourself. Because of this, she struggled with persistent self-doubt throughout her professional life. On top of that, Tori had a hard time accepting herself physically. It's funny because she portrayed the epitome of a perfect teen on Beverly Hills 90210, well-known, attractive, and seems put together most of the time. Off camera, though, Tori had a completely different perception of herself. She felt inadequate in real life and struggled to maintain the image she projected on film. She seemed to be caught between two realities, the one in which she was the beloved girl and the one in which she had a deep inner conflict about her own worth. Having Tori Spelling as a father undoubtedly boosted Tori's career, but it also made her wonder if she might have achieved just as much success without him. Even though she played a heroine who appeared to have it all, Tori was actually fighting her own demons, the belief that she was inadequate in her personal and professional life. Despite her self-doubt, the actress continued to live her life to the fullest. A turning point in Tori's life came when she began receiving substantial compensation for her role in Beverly Hills 90210. Being on a popular TV show suddenly brought her more money than most people her age could ever imagine, and she was still quite young. At last, Tori felt like she could escape the financial shadow of her famous father and stand on her own 2 feet. Empowerment was the word. She was financially independent, taking care of her own expenses and defining her own rules for life. Having a consistent income of $90,210 or roughly $70 per week, Tori felt confident in her ability to handle her finances at the time. She freely indulged in life's finest luxuries, spending $0 per episode. She began to regularly indulge in shopping sprees, designer outfits, and luxury objects as a result of her self-satisfaction. However, it soon became apparent that this seemingly solid financial independence wasn't really there. The consequences of Tori's spending habits became apparent. She felt empowered by her extravagance, but it was also guiding her towards although she did have the income, she lacked the financial acumen and self-control to effectively handle it over time. A problem developed out of what had been a rather innocuous pastime when she was younger. Tori was having trouble maintaining the lavish lifestyle she had constructed for herself as the money that had been flowing easily started to dry up. The contrast between making money and carefully spending it was driven home by this painful experience. Going off of Beverly Hills, the actress's financial problems began to pile up. The end of 90210 was reached. Her love of luxury was carefree while she was on the show, since her incredible $70,000 per episode salary allowed her to do so. To make matters worse, Tori's financial situation started to fall apart once Beverly Hills 90210 finished. Her $70, $0 per episode checks stopped coming in, but that didn't make her want to change her lifestyle any less. It was expected that Tori would continue to lavishly spend money on fashionable clothes, fancy residences, and exotic holidays, since she had never experienced life without money. She continued to assume that her father's wealth would provide a safety net regardless of her circumstances, so she continued to spend lavishly even as she took on more acting gigs. Tori, on the other hand, had a rude awakening when Tori Spelling died in 2006. She and her brother Randy only got $800,000 apiece out of their father's estimated $500 million fortune, which was much less than what she had hoped to get. Many were perplexed as to why Tori did not receive a larger settlement, given the enormous riches that Tori had amassed. Prior to her father's passing, Tori had even spoken with him, wants to know what his intentions are. Tori told her that everything would be all right and revealed that she would receive slightly less than $1 million, even though the conversation was uncomfortable and emotionally taxing. At the moment, Tori believed her father's word and accepted, but she probably didn't realize how this would affect her future finances. Tori probably had another reason for her father to make these decisions besides his worries about her spending habits. Tori Spelling and Tori's relationship had been rocky for a long time. To encourage or maybe even force Tori to make amends with Tori may have thought she would receive the most of his wealth. Ultimately, Tori had become the guardian of the family fortune. Whether intentional or not, this tactic put Tori in a tough spot because it made her financially reliant on her mother, with whom she had a tumultuous relationship. Tori provided some context for Tori's thinking at the same time. Her husband's choice to limit their children's inheritance was likely influenced by Tori's well-known financial troubles and reckless spending, she claimed in an interview from 2014. Candy may have thought Tori couldn't appropriately manage a bigger bequest because he had always been more frugal with money. Whether it was an effort to restore family unity or a lesson in fiscal discipline, Tori now finds herself without the safety net she had relied on for years due to the decision. When Tori's father passed away in 2006, her financial problems became much worse. The spending patterns that Tori had developed during a lifetime of affluence failed to adapt to her newfound financial realities. Even though she received a modest bequest, she fell into a string of financial troubles that would follow her about like a shadow because of her penchant for buying luxury goods and living lavishly. Her rapidly increasing credit card debt was a major concern. Even when Tori's salary stopped covering her unhealthy purchasing habits, they remained. It seemed inevitable that something would happen when her debt reached the hundreds of thousands. American Express filed a lawsuit against Tori and her husband Dean McDermott for nearly $87,000 in unpaid debt in a highly publicized incident. A number of court battles, including this one, brought attention to the couple's financial difficulties and showed how Tori's Hollywood image was at odds with her actual financial problems. However, Tori's financial woes extended beyond merely credit card debt. California levied a tax lien on her home in 2014 for more than $259,000 in back taxes. Even worse repercussions ensued in subsequent years as the Internal Revenue Service (IRS) stepped in to collect their dues. Tori had almost $700,000 taken out of his bank account in 2017 by the Internal Revenue Service to pay off federal taxes that were due in 2014. Because of this drain, her accounts were in a terrible position, and that was before she even considered the tax problems. The accumulation of tax liens and other debts persisted, culminating in the seizure of her accounts due to a $88,000 credit card balance. Tori persevered in the face of these devastating financial losses. She moved into a roughly $4 million house in 2020, showing that she was determined to keep some of her old lifestyle. But it wasn't the end of the fight. More than $400,000 was still due on a bank loan that Tori took out in 2012, and she was also being chased by tax authorities for almost $96,000 in back taxes. Tori had a hard enough time making ends meet as it was without having to fight the extravagant appetites that had grown in her privileged upbringing. Despite her best attempts, she has freely admitted that her upbringing has hindered her ability to completely embrace a simpler existence. After her tumultuous divorce, the TV star's issues would unfortunately only worsen. It all started in 2005 in Ottawa, Canada, when Tori met Dean McDermott on the set of the TV movie Mind Over Murder. Both Tori and Dean had other spouses when this happened. While Dean was wed to Mary Jo Eustace, Tori was in a relationship with Charlie Sheen. Tori and Dean had obvious chemistry from the start, and their bond deepened even though they were already in committed relationships. Dean and Tori were married on May 7, 2006, less than a month after Charlie Sheen's divorce was finalized, and after Dean split from Eustace. They started their new life together with a wedding on the beautiful island of Fiji. Tori and Dean in Love, their reality show, debuted at the same time as the couple's first child, Liam, was born in March 2007. The show, which chronicled their exploits as California bed and breakfast owners, gave viewers a window into their developing relationship and parental responsibilities. Stella, their second child, was born in June of 2008, expanding their family. Upon their return to Los Angeles, the couple's reality show evolved into Tori and Dean, Home Sweet Hollywood, documenting their experiences adjusting to city life. Their marriage was plagued by many difficulties despite their public image. After years of animosity, Tori and her mother Tori Spelling reconciled in 2009, according to Dean. Their family dynamic became more stable after their reunion, and Candy even got to spend time with her grandkids. The marriage of Tori and Dean, meanwhile, wasn't perfect. Their relationship was severely tested in 2014 due to reports of Dean's alleged infidelity. The marriage of the famous couple grew more and more tense. Their relationship was nevertheless affected by the stresses of their individual lives and financial uncertainty, even though they tried to keep up their public personas and resolve their problems. Tori Spelling and Dean McDermott divorced after a long and happy marriage of 18 years. Their official separation date was June 17, 2023, and Tori filed for divorce citing irreconcilable differences. They had 5 children together: Liam, Stella, Hattie, Finn, and Beau. She asked for spousal maintenance and physical custody of their children, but she also wanted shared legal custody and visiting rights to be determined later. To this day, Tori is still having money problems even though she is getting spousal support. It was difficult for her to keep track of her money and provide for her big family. Contrarily, Dean just acknowledged that their breakup was long overdue. The fact that Dean and Tori had been sleeping separately since 2017 was reported to the British media by Dean. It all started when Tori started frequently bringing in pigs, chickens, and many dogs to their bedroom and bathroom. This led to the choice. The number of accidents caused by the dogs, according to Dean, became too much to handle. He came clean about how he chose to sleep separately since he couldn't bear to live in such an environment. The effects of Dean's drug and alcohol abuse on his family life and marriage were also addressed. He admitted that the interpersonal problems he was experiencing with Tori and their children were mostly caused by his substance usage issues. After Tori Spelling's divorce from Dean McDermott was announced, Ryan Kramer, CEO of Neuron Syndicate Inc., and Spelling were seen enjoying a passionate kiss. People took notice of their public appearance at Level 8, a popular Los Angeles nightclub, when they were seen together. Fans and spectators were intrigued by the images of their passionate display, which showed them walking hand in hand and kissing before they both hopped in the same car and left. Many were captivated by the striking resemblance between Ryan Kramer and Tori's ex-husband Dean. Some internet users even made fun of the couple, claiming they were dating twins because of how similar they looked. Kramer has an impressive resume advertising, in addition to being famous for his striking good looks. He has created television introductions for the independent film channel while working at iFilm, worked as an art director for Toyota Lexus, and designed game packaging for Microsoft. But the star's financial situation hasn't improved despite her new romance. Meanwhile, Tori's financial status has taken a sharp turn for the worst. Her net worth has dropped significantly from $1.5 million in 2022 to an estimated $150,000 in the present, according to Celebrity Net Worth.